Hello, my name is Kim Shipe. I'm a registered nurse. Actually, I was a critical care nurse for just over 20 years, and then I became an elementary school nurse, and I did that for 6 years. My critical care time was done in the state of Pennsylvania, and then we moved. My husband took a job running a metals stamping company in Connecticut, so we moved to Connecticut, and I became the elementary school nurse in Southbury, Connecticut. Then unfortunately, on May 1st, 2002, everything would change in a split second when I took my kids for an outdoor takeout treat after school. An elderly man with no feelings from his knees to his toes mixed up his brake and his gas, and within a fraction of a second, I was hit, pinned, and driven into a wooden structure. As you can imagine, I would have told you that all of my critical care years were to benefit those that I saved. But at that moment in time, I knew that it was all about saving my own life. All my years of knowledge needed to be put to good use at that point in time. My first hospital stay was 3.5 months in length. I had 30 surgeries in the first year. I spent 5 full years in a wheelchair. I ended up with MRSA and VRE in my bones in my left tibia and of the lower leg. I ended up having a Lizaroff device put on my leg, which looks like this. That was on my right leg as I regrew and stabilized that bone. And then much later, that would be taken off too early, and my entire right lower leg bowed. It needed to be cut apart again, the bone that is, and I had to start all over. I ended up then getting what was called a Taylor spatial frame, which looks like this, on both of my lower legs. I had one on my right leg for 5 full years, and on my left leg for 7 years. By the time I was going to my last leg surgery, I was working with a limb lengthening specialist who had moved from Baltimore, Maryland to West Palm Beach, Florida, and his name is Dr. Dror Paley. He's world-renowned in limb lengthening. That last surgery that I was going to was surgery number 51. I had to learn how to sit. I had to learn how to stand. I had to learn how to walk. It's incredible how quickly things change when you can't move for yourself. The night before I was leaving for my last leg surgery, I was in New Jersey at our house at the beach. I was bending over to remove my sports bra, and I found a lump in my right breast. 6 weeks later, and 1 more surgery, and I got the diagnosis that I had invasive ductal carcinoma stage 2. And the pathology report said they hadn't taken a big enough margin and I needed more surgeries. As you can imagine, I'm not a lucky person. I had many, many complications. I would develop seromas. That's an area where tissue's removed and your body tries to fill the dead space in with fluid. When the fluid accumulates in there, it becomes infected, and you develop a seroma. I believe I had 3 seromas. And my plastic surgeon finally said, Kim, we have to take an ace bandage and we have to wrap it around your chest as tight as you can tolerate. And when you're in too much pain, you'll know to take it off and reapply it. My self-esteem was shot after that many surgeries, and the disfigurement of my legs was awful. I felt like I didn't have a break. I went right from the accident to the breast cancer. I really missed nursing, and I knew that possibly if I started using my brain again in a way that could help people, that maybe I could find some joy and fulfillment in that. Now I can sew. I've been sewing since I was probably in middle school. So I decided, you know what, I'll research fabric. I was a runner before my accident. And I really used water-wicking clothing. As a nurse, I would build things into a dressing that other people wouldn't think of, like antibacterial protection, an absorptive layer, possibly even a layer that would be pretty in color. And then I went and picked out my first fabric, and I got hot pink, and I got lime green, and the most brilliant teal. And I made my first 3 dressings. And when I wore those dressings, I felt like I had a brand new Victoria's Secret bra on. I just was starting to feel better. When my plastic surgeon saw the dressings, she said, "I've never seen anything that beautiful. I think you should start to make those for other people." I thought she was silly at first, but I listened to God. He gives me direction. So let me show you what I invented. These are my breast cancer dressings. MDM, Miss Daisy Medical. The color, I survived pink. Instead of Tiffany blue, tough in any blue, right? So we did clinical trials with 2 business partners, Dr. Peter Sebastian, who lives in Ocean Pine, Maryland, and Dr. Jennifer Bowl, who lives in the greater Phoenix area. And we realized that the dressings, although very, very much compression, very stretchy, slipped out of place a little bit because the fabric is so soft. Then I said, I know what we need to do. We need to add silicone dots. Kind of hard to see maybe, but see those dots? Now that will serve 2 purposes. First of all, silicone will keep it in place. It's not going to move. It doesn't matter if you'd wear the dots against you or flip it the other way and reverse it and wear it the other direction. It doesn't matter. It's still going to grip the bandage and keep it in place. So then I decided it had to be 3 layers. Obviously the outer 2 layers just for color and the reversibility of it. The middle layer is the absorptive layer. All 3 layers wick the moisture to the middle layer, the absorptive layer, where it will stay unless obviously the drainage exceeds the amount of fabric, and then the drainage or moisture perspiration would get wicked to the outer layer, at which point it would rapidly evaporate. I made sure that we had really good Velcro so that if somebody was exercising and had moved in different directions, it wouldn't come open. I did, I think, 15 sizes. This is my box. My website is www.missdaisymedical.com. It tells the story of my accident. It tells the story of the use. Inside I have very good directions as to how to apply it, what sizes to use where. And then about 4 years ago, a company found me. And the company's name is Schutt. And you might know them because, Mark, I think you know Schutt. Anyway, at the point where they found me, they were looking for smaller companies that they might be interested in purchasing. When they heard my story, and they heard how many surgeries I've had, which to date is 91. I'm not kidding. 91 times I had to have surgery. I sat down about a week ago and I said, how many have I had in my whole life? 99. So what I didn't learn as a critical care nurse, I learned on the job training. I never wanted to work in orthopedics. I never cared for all the weights and the traction, and it just looks so painful, and it is very painful. Yep, I suffered a lot, but I'm bringing good things to mankind by what I've been through. I've actually written 3 books. I'm working with Peacock Proud Press, and my books will be published sometime early next summer. So Shed came to me and said, we want to buy your company. And I said, it's not for sale. Well, they eventually convinced me to sell. And they said, your dressings offer so much compression. Instead of calling your business Stacey Medically, and instead of calling your dressings just regular dressings, we decided to name them Python Wraps. And the Python wrap is constructed the same way. The Velcro is just a little bit different, but it has the same 3 layers. Oh, also, there's also antibacterial, antimicrobial protection built in it too. We added colloidal silver to all 3 layers. We really need to get this out. Can you help me? I'd love it. Thank you.